not a good person, Rue.
Do these 5 things and you will defeat the narcissist for sure.
Here are some subtle clues that someone's probably a bad person.
The most evil people take the highest good and invert it. And then they cast aspersions on the existence of the highest good.
Generically, a person is measured as bad or is perceived to be a bad person when they exercises characteristics which are deemed bad or unacceptable by the society. Characteristics like selfishness, of course, when they are habitually judgmental or when they are never admitting to anything being their fault, when they never apologizes, and when they find it really hard to celebrate other success. People who exhibit this personality and characters are deemed bad, wicked, or spiteful in general. But a deeper dive into humanity, more like everything that comes together to complete one human to the other and to the next, you will have to take some moment to pause and wonder, what about people who suffers from certain psychological disorder, condition, trauma, personality traits, and all of which contributed to them being the way that they are? Then you will have to question your own thinking, because are you trying to make excuses for bad individuals or, at the worst, evil individuals? And whether your answer is a yes or a no, you're still faced with the question of what importance is my consideration or my thoughts to begin with, and does this changes something in the realm of making the world sees these people in the the light that they've never seen them, and stop seeing them the way they've always seen them? And that, of course, is if your answer is a yes. Maybe in the case of a no, it might go a long way in aggravating the judgment and the criticism or the abhorrence dashed towards individuals who falls in the evil or bad spectrum. But essentially, would even yourself or myself, who is doing the talking, definitely, ever grow mentally or in however way to surpass seeing and perceiving people the actual way that they are to be viewed based on the type of characteristics they exhibit, just because we have psychology to explain and declare that a certain type of childhood or upbringing or environment or nurturing can alter certain behavior, like selfishness or some kind of pathological impulses to lie and carry out deceit. Does it then mean I'll be able to see someone who cheated and take all that is meant for myself and then all to themselves as a victim of some improper upbringing? The human sense and cognition might actually recognizes that, but the human nature is in no way very understandable of such phenomena because before you tap into the sense that recognizes the behavior as some upbringing factored impulses, your brain has responded based on your human nature instinct, right? And another thing to be curious about here is if every character is deemed bad and evil is due to either the biological formation of an individual personality trait or their gene, or results from their poor nurturing or their immediate environment, and if necessarily every display of selfishness, greediness, jealousy, and narcissism measure to being bad or evil, but then would anybody even pass the test and come up as good, like a good individual? Definitely no, since selfishness, greediness, jealousy, they are all very universal human emotions that even in a not selfish person, there are times when they do stuff that comes off as selfish, and the same goes for every other emotions. And of course, I'm very aware that what makes a person selfish or greedy is the attribute as such character is habitually exhibits by them. But then, does it mean every selfish, greedy, jealous, narcissistic person is wicked and bad or evil? According to psychology, which obviously will be the most rather appropriate judge of characters as far as human impulses and emotions are concerned, the three triad personality traits, narcissism, malevolency, and psychopathy, when an individual falls in the category of one of these personality traits, they can be measured or pronounced as a bad person and an evil person when it kind of possesses and exhibits all the three. And you should note all these three traits, which of course stands as a measure for bad and evil, are either genetic and environmental or neurobiological. All these factors which the individual has little or no power at all over how it plays out. But does that excuse the pain, the danger, and the harm they must have caused or are potentially capable of causing to others? I know it's some kind of tangled reactions and stance, because we can actually say they are victims of either gene, neurobiology, or their environment. But being a victim of something that is neither my fault nor yours doesn't excuse the bad, the lack of consideration for others, and their indifference to the discomfort, the pain, and the hurt they causes to other. But actually, as far as the provision of psychology is concerned, every bad, those who do stuff without considering or necessarily caring about the hurt, discomfort, or just how unjust it is to others, and evil individuals, those who are like at the peak of it all, are victims. Probably there is nobody who chooses to be a bad person or an evil person. It just happens. Okay, the stimulants are highly out of the control, and a very close look into our environment and the world that we have around us. Nobody is potentially good, like a good person. Every humans has what triggers the bad side in them. So the focus mainly is on the evil spectrum. Individuals who lacks, should we say lack, like people who suffer from lack of empathy, right? Knows the society views certain acts as wrong and abysmal. They are somewhat yet incapable of internalizing and integrating this knowledge of right and wrong, and ability to manage the behavior. Obviously, people with psychopathy traits and people with Machiavellianism are primarily unaware of their own emotion, consequently making them insensitive and indifferent to that of others. And though not every person with visible narcissistic attributes is a potential malignant individual, they are, however, often labeled and discussed usually in some kind of how to avoid, how to deal with on almost every social platform, because they obviously causes, if not harm, discomfort to obviously their acquaintances, when in fact the root of it is none of these persons who falls in this category chooses it deliberately. Or maybe is there any hypothesis that I brought that forward, that people are actually capable of making themselves evil when it is not even in their gene or something? You can let me know. But necessarily it is either the neurobiological alignment of the individual as certain faults, or the trait is biologically rooted in the gene, or as a result of the childhood experiences obtaining relationship with defective caregivers. Yet the individual single-handedly take blames, chest stigmas, and go to prison in solo when they actually crosses the law line. And I feel like it is so unfair to them, because even in some that do everything possible to control their impulses, a little trigger can render them helpless. So when a certain kind of neurobiological formation can render an individual dangerous, harmful, or discomforting to the rest of the world, what was the point and the reason for such neurobiological orchestration and its existence, when in fact others are capable of functioning, if not in some saints never doing bad ways, they can function properly? Does it then mean there has to be some pain, bad, and dangers to exist within human, and some of them scapegoats? Like, what is the point necessarily? Like people has traumas, disorder, certain psychological conditions, if not traits, a specific upbringing that make them a certain way in certain situations. And there is the society that makes rules and law, some of which pronounces restriction on how expressive one can get with their emotions and all of that. So if there is no, you know, made available space or platform to express trauma, disorder, tried personalities, and everything, the world will not welcome with an open arm. What is the point of having them? Why did they even exist? Why did they even manifest? Even when we try as much as possible to do only what is acceptable. Because if you will ask me, I don't think anyone would love to be greedy. It just happens just before they know it, and they can't control wanting more than they should and coveting what belongs to others. Nobody, in my opinion, not when they know the stigma and the dislikes associated with narcissism, would want to be one. Yet many out there get told over the phone, okay, on the last call with their best friend or partner, how disgustingly and suffocatingly controlling they are, right? And they are still not over the shock of the revelation, because even themselves, after so many self-assessment, has come to terms with a sad truth. And obviously selfish, greedy, mean, and every bad person cannot be wiped out of the world, right? Because I'm one of them someday, and on others you are. And I'm not necessarily saying chest it and don't say no or react when somebody do something bad to you, okay? But obviously when you know there are days when the individual is an angel, or a companion when they need be, or a friend when necessary, or a cool random neighbor, it might be hard, but we should try and treat people the equal way that we would want to be treated on days when the bad in us surfaces. Maybe by ignoring or just trying to, give them some thoughts of like, what's wrong with you and stuff like that. I know it's so hard. I cannot even guarantee that myself, right? But it won't do so much. And the individuals who are finding it hard to term with a certain bad trait in them, maybe the society needs you to let go of that in order for you to be acceptable and be among the good. The most important thing is how you feel about yourself. At the discovery, do you wish to change? If you do, then without so much self-sabotaging or hate, do the work to get out of the bubble slowly and at a very positive pace. And if you do not wish to, maybe you don't see the need, the most important thing equally is still yourself. Would you want it or appreciate it should somebody else deliver an equal energy to you? If you feel, somehow about the thought of it, then maybe you should endeavor to carry out some changes that may actually bring about some very positive changes both to you and the world that you have around you necessarily. So guys, thank you for watching this video. My name is Olawa, and please subscribe to my channel. I don't know. See ya.